committee.
Well, yeah,
And I added that last sentence, and or matters pertaining to the business of the committee.
I put
The
business
town
or
council has one
interest of this
similar to
committee.
that, I just changed the wording.
I would make it say matters pertaining to the business or interest of this committee.
Yeah, that works for me. I definitely think that last part of it seems important for us.
But other than that, yeah, everything is the same. It's allowed to go for 15 minutes. The speaker can speak for 3 minutes. All that is the same.
Yeah.
And the chair reserves a strict order decorum at all committee meetings, and outbursts are not permitted. That's all from the town council.
I don't expect that anybody's going to come here and disrupt the thing, but there was a potential.
Situation earlier.
Oh, really?
Conservation Commission has had one that's not the same as the other you might be referring to, so it's important to have it real clear from the outset.
Yep, that works. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
The main thing I wanted to talk about was community power. So, community power, risk management, and the finance committee met Monday and made recommendation. We reviewed possible rates and made recommendations. So this is what is going to the Community Power Coalition Board of Directors. So it hasn't been approved yet. But anyway, for beginning August 1st through January, they are proposing a residential rate of 14.949 cents.
Okay. Again, it has to be approved by the board. I don't expect, though, that there's going to be any change. Eversource is proposing a rate of 14.00914 cents. Their rate has not been approved by the Public Utilities Commission. It's expected to be approved. They're supposed to review it tomorrow. They could change it. I'll show you some stuff where they did change for some other companies or utilities. PUC might change it, but then again, the odds are probably that they won't. But anyway, I want to add this other. The Eversource rate includes 0.00914 cents to make up for past undercollections. They have $38 million in undercollections for the last couple of rate periods. PUC has not approved their rate. Eversource, they have to set their rates based on criteria that the Public Utilities Commission has mandated. Okay. Eversource has come out and said that if they were to do it their way, their rate would actually be 1.4 cents higher than this rate. Okay, so this 14.009 is based on what the rules are that they have to work under. Okay. And here is a quote from Community Power. Okay. This rate is not a PUC approved price for Eversource yet. It is expected that we'll be ordered to continue to use the under market proxy price calculations, which will likely make more under collections for them through this upcoming period, but will also make their pricing under CPCNH's again. If they were using the most accurate model, which Eversource actually presented to the PUC, then their price would actually be higher than Community Power's. There should be a ruling on the methodology for the next rate period, but for this particular rate period, as far as everyone's concerned, they're going to go with the rules that the Public Utilities Commission has set. So the difference between Community Power and Eversource will be about a penny, 0.93986. For an average household of 650 kilowatts per month, that means they're going to be spending an extra $6.11 compared to what their rate would be if they were Eversource. The current rate for Community Power is 14.663 cents. The new rate's going to be 14.949. The 14.949 represents a 1.95% increase over the current rate. Okay. And just for comparison, the Unitil and Liberty are the other two utilities. Unitil is 14.384, They had requested 14.470. The PUC knocked them down to 14.348. Again, using the PUC rules. Liberty had requested actually 21 cents, 21, really high. The PUC approved 15.835, again using their rules. Okay. So, I also too want to just talk about, this is what the latest forecast is. This is a better picture, maybe. No, maybe that one's better. Just want to talk about their financial forecast. Because the financials, why we've been higher than Eversource for the last couple of rates is because we have to catch up on our under collections. So this is where they are right now. Basically, they're in the hole for like close to $17 million. Okay. This is where they expect to be as of the end of July, in the hole for like $16 million. We have, as of May, the end of May, we've got like $2,256,000 in the bank. Okay. They expect that this red line here is what is it? Cash flow. Cash flow. Okay. Basically, how much money we would have in the bank after we're paying everything, whatever. You see almost through and January, February, March, somewhere around there, that we're actually running in a deficit. But as of April 27, then they start getting into a positive cash flow. I don't know if I explained this very well, because a lot of this is over my head, but the bottom line is, based on the current rate and the probabilities, that this is where they think they will be as of April of 27, that we will start getting into a positive cash flow. So,
Can you scroll down a little just to see the key?
okay, so the red is the cash balance. Basically, it's how much do we have, and technically, when we're in the hole, we have no cash. Okay.
Yeah.
Starting in March or so, after this winter rate, we start getting into a place where we actually have, we're catching up on what we owe and whatever, and we're actually into a positive cash flow. And this green line represents how much money they would have in reserves. X amount of money has to be held in reserve over the cash. So they expect to have like $2 million in cash, and 7, 8, or 9, around 10 million is set aside in reserves that they can call upon.
Do you know, so I noticed it said like P50 case, the P50 at the top, which is a mid case, whatever, but is that, like most likely I think, is that assuming, like what are they assuming for rate increases through the next 3 years, or are they actually assuming anything different, like decreases? Or? Okay, so they do have a whole bunch of variables that they plug in. They've already purchased X amount of electricity going forward, so they know a certain amount, like 80 or 90% of what their costs are going to be for electricity. Then they set aside variables. So there's that day ahead DASI things, and there's line loss. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of variables, and they actually run a bunch of different scenarios. 5% likelihood, 50% likelihood, 95% likelihood, and this is the 50% in the 50% likelihood that this is what that figure would look like. So they have high to like near 100% confidence in 80% of their revenues for the next 3 years.
Say that again.
You said that they've procured electricity for the next 3 years?
No, not like the next 36 months. Okay. And it varies. Okay, so for their rules, the risk management rules say 90 days before a month. okay, or for 90 days before a rate period, they have to purchase 70% of, say, all the electricity that they're going to need for that rate period. And they can purchase like 100% for the first month, 80% for the next month, 50% for the third month, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so 60 days or 90 days before, they have to be at certain percentages for the upcoming period. The month before the rate period begins, they have to be at a higher level. I don't have the figures in front of me, but they now have to be at like 90% of what they think they're going to have. And then the day before a month, they have to be at 100% of what they think, or 100% or more of what they think they're going to need for that upcoming month. Okay, so they've gone and already purchased like 36 months ahead for, in some cases, for Newmarket, whatever. So that's one of the reasons why if we withdraw, they've already committed to X amount of electricity for Newmarket. And if we withdraw, we have to somehow get them the money or whatever to make up for the electricity that they purchased for us, or they have to be able to recover it from someplace else. We just can't pull out and leave that debt to the other communities. So the bottom line is, what I'm asking is that we had the meeting with Freedom Energy. I want to talk about that in a second. We have another meeting next month with a lady, Erin, she's at EMC. When we met with Bill Tappan, he gave me a name of somebody to contact. I looked that up and I got that lady, Erin's name, and I talked to her, and she is Community Choice, I think it was. She's no longer with whatever that company was. That company went out under or whatever, and so she has started her own. Okay, so she's going to come here next month and talk to us give us a speech similar to what we got for Freedom Energy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but what I was hoping is to do tonight was to get this committee's recommendation to stay with Community Power through the upcoming rate period in the December. That ends in January.
Okay.
December, January time period, we take a look and see, okay, how are they doing compared to what they said they were going to be, and make a decision. Okay, we need to pull out of Community Power, or maybe we can stay with them for another cycle to see how it's going. If they're on the end. That's what I was kind of hoping that we could do here.
So what would be the metric that we're looking at in January or December? Would it be, do they have cash reserves of $7 million?
Yeah, I would say, are they tracking to what they predicted at the 50 percentile? According to Henry, they may actually do better than this. They're adding, Keene is going live. Keene is a Liberty. And Liberty's going to be like 15 or higher.
So they can do better than Keene. Yeah.
So with the bringing on of Keene, the expectation is that, and keeping our fingers crossed that we don't have a winter like this past winter, we should actually be in better shape than this. And if they're in a better financial shape than what they expect, good. If they're in a worse financial shape than what they predicting, then is they okay? We owe it to the people in Newmarket to give them the best deal. So that's what I'd like to do. The town council may have different ideas. I'll present that to the town council and say, here's my recommendation. We didn't have a quorum to make a formal decision, but that's what I'd like to do, and we shall see. Questions?
You met with the financial manager between the last meeting, talked to Freedom Energy.
Yes, yeah, we did meet with Bill, and the thinking at the time, or at least my thinking, was, hey, can we kind of like ride on your coattails and get a better deal for electricity with the people that you know? And he didn't paint a very good picture. He said, their contract ends in December. The new contracts that he's looking at, they can't guarantee, good prices that he's got in the past. And I don't know if you've got any more, if he's had any more dealings since our meeting there.
Not that I've heard. The other thing he was saying is that CES isn't really set up or equipped to handle the residential portion for the town. So they can handle the municipal accounts, but he shared the name of that other company. I thought they were servicing Keene at the time. Was that true?
Yeah,
The lady
that's
that
what
you
it said,
talked
that
with?
they were,
Yeah.
they were servicing Keene, but,
And then
as of,
Freedom Energy was the other one that he was aware of and had passed along information, so.
Yeah, I guess one of the questions I was asking was if we go around Freedom Energy or one of those other companies where they're now finding and sourcing those contracts for us, you know, is that something, I'm thinking good mechanics for like the board, is that something where we could have the finance manager kind of game those out, come with a recommendation to the board for us to vote on versus like us trying to look at, you know, 6 contracts. I don't know how complicated it would be, but they just say, here are 6 prices, pick one. If it's that simple, and then
So-
we could probably manage that, but
if we go with like Freedom Energy or this other lady here, they go out and they do get a bid and they get the lowest contract, lowest, they put out an RFP to a couple of places, then they take the lowest one, come back to us and say, okay, here, this company is willing to give it to you for like 12 cents a kilowatt hour.
yeah, so in this case, you know, I don't feel like the financial manager really is needing or I feel like the board is.
I mean, we could ask Bill, but I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for Bill, but I think he'd say, you know, hey, that's up to you guys, type of thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think through. I guess one of my kind of back. One of my concerns with all of this is when we swap to community power on that structure right there. The kind of premise, as I see it, was that now the Newmarket residents are kind of pooling, they get some pricing power, seeking out like as a town or little people. And I feel like the arrangement now, we're more or less kind of stuck in community powers. We're not really using that, we just replace one company where we just like, they just do what they do and we get the price we get. There's another company that does what they do and we get the price that we get. And at the end of the day, I don't feel like as a committee or as a town, we should be parsing through a company's financials of like, oh, maybe they'll do better. Like, I'm not doing that for EverSource. It's like they give me a price and I don't like it, then I go and find somebody else. I just feel like we're not set up to really leverage that pricing power. We're just kind of like the same situation with our hands tied.
There's the option where we can just say, screw it, we recommend going back to EverSource, and, you know, as a committee, we look around to see what's Direct Energy doing, what's this, and we can make recommendations to the people in the town as to what to do.
You could certainly do that. I feel like the kind of compromise to all that is obviously as a town we're not super flexible. Like we have meetings once a month. We're in these like rate periods. We're not going to sit there and price every other day looking for the steal. We can't do that.
Right.
But I think going with like whether it is Freedom Energy or other companies, I think that finds a sweet spot of we're still needing a kind of another person to do that contract arrangement for us. They're still going to get their cut. There's going to be that built into the price. But at least we have somebody that can kind of like every period look for the best deal, whereas now, or EverSource, whatever, they're kind of stuck. Because I would hate to lose that ability for the town to go and seek the best price. Because we do have some leverage right now. It's just I feel like we're underutilizing it when we just kind of pitch our wagon to a company and just say it is what it is. I don't think we were really able to like, you know, even doing this structure, it's like, okay, well,
absolutely.
how many rate periods have we been sitting here talking about it, complaining? We're like, well, let's wait another 6 months, another rate period. Oh, we'll wait another 6 months. I feel like we're kind of squandering our leverage with as a community power to go and find it to the company. So I guess in my mind, I'd rather use like Freedom Energy or one of them, and then every 6 months they say, here's your new price. And I don't know if that's us advising the town council to say, let's keep going, or if it's like an up-down vote on all that, but I feel like that's at least a better steady state to be at.
So you're saying we should cut the tie now? Is that
We'll have to, I don't think it makes sense to cut it before they can get the contractual obligations, because I don't think it makes sense to pay more money when we're already kind of, you know, higher than a higher rate. So we'd have to at least whether that's January. I know you've talked about like how they've brought out power and all that. It sounded like from Freedom Energy, it's kind of an open question of like how much you have to be required to pay out with that, at least from their side. Something we'll have to pursue. It makes sense to wait out that rate period, that contractual obligation, but at that point, like in January.
So, yeah, and what I'm saying, we wouldn't actually cut the tie in January or whatever, but that's when we would give Community Power notice, hey, we want to end our contract with you. You know, what do we have to do to work it out?
Yeah, I guess in my mind, I would start that conversation like this rate period so that come January, we have cut the tie. I guess I'm in favor of that based on what I've seen so far.
I would have to agree. I think the sooner we cut it, because it's not what I think about ecology or good electric rates or whatever. It's about we're the stewards of people in the Newmarket. And it feels like a Shark Tank show where we're not in a position to analyze or see what were their metrics to come up with. Well, we hope in October of 27 we've got $8 million or whatever. I don't think we have that level of expertise. I also think when you look at the other companies, the people from the CFO and the managers of those other companies, there's just so much more experience. And my heart goes to the people who are at the spearhead of community power, but I think that, and they started with them, people having a conversation of knowing there's more than one band, at the concert, but I just feel like it's like you take your card over candy, it's like going to be 400. Oh, I found this other thing, it's another 400, another. At some point you say, okay, I paid this much, I'm going to keep paying. And you hit a point where you say, I'm just not going to keep paying. So I would probably be a little more abrupt than you were about starting the conversation to cut this and move on sooner than later is the best idea. And you have to look at all the people in town. It's not about electricity, it's about what are the unpaid, the hot lunch program, what's for the reduced lunch costs, what are people going to Heather Thibodeau for, what are people going to landlords for, what relief are people asking for veterans and tax abatements and all the other factors that we're stewards of the whole concept of the town and the energy and the budgets and the people's out-of-pocket expenses.
I guess we're not going to deal with it today, but I think just having everybody's opinions on that, and then we'll have to get other people's, but I think that's kind of...
That was my intent.
Get everybody's opinion. I was kind of hoping it would go the other way, but...
You look at me. Yeah, my feelings are mixed on this. That, I mean, if freedom can be a better price, provide a better price, and still provide optionality in what is very much like a commodity business, like that's a good thing. Both CP and CNH does that. Like we get that. We're providing that option. We're not forcing residents to do anything. They maybe have to opt out, which is, we're asking them to do that, but it's giving them an option, which in an electricity, which is typically not something you have an option on. You pay the price you're given, like you said. But if we're the stewards of what's the best choice or other option or alternative for the town, or for residents, it does seem like freedom is currently a better choice.
Is it not the case that in an apartment building, the landlord, the manager, or the owner of the building are dictating let's say it's 16 units, that it's a one source deciding what the electricity is going into that building?
I would assume so.
Well, Eversource delivers it, okay, but each individual apartment will contract with, Eversource or whoever they want for electric supply. But Eversource delivers it. It's in Newmarket. There's nobody else.
Yeah, it is quite impressive.
Eversource still manages it all, but you can go do that.
The effort to do that, to save a few dollars a month is probably not worth it.
Yeah, not like a nice click down.
Yeah, exactly. And to that point, you had it up. It was for the average resident of 650 kilowatt hours a month. I don't know how many of the CPCNH customers in Newmarket are apartments, but it's probably most of them, and they are most likely not using them.
Most residents are in our apartments.
Yeah, and so my thinking is that 650 is probably on the very high end of our community power customers' usage, which means it's not even going to be close to $6 a month that they're paying extra over Eversource.
Yeah, but his town meeting, when there's this school once maybe you taxed about $1.16.
Yeah.
And people are saying, I'm not paying your taxes.
No, yeah, and I get people don't want to pay anything more, but again, they don't have to. Like, they can.
I think it's the same thing the guys say, just see the price and it's higher than something else and they're not doing all the calculations, it feels higher. I guess at the end of the day, it just feels like we have a responsibility as this committee to be the ones, evaluating this. And I feel like we haven't done anything but sit on our hands and hope for something better. And I guess I'm feeling like something that's more active would benefit us. Just feels, that's just me. And I don't know if it's Freedom Energy or one of the other people. I know there was a couple that have two presented, and then we have, who's presented? It was Freedom.
CES, but
Well,
CES
the
is not an
constellation
option.
was just for the municipalities.
Okay. So it's currently the Community Power, New Hampshire Community Power, Freedom Energy, and then we have a third person coming.
Yeah, I forget, EMC or something like that.
Yeah, so I guess if they're going to come next month, and then hopefully we'll have quorum next month, we can at least.
The only thing I think, I don't know, Freedom Energy charges like 2 cents, I don't know, at 0.02 cents or whatever, a kilowatt hour for their fee. I think her fee was a little bit less than them.
Yeah, I guess we'll
Not that
see
it
her
was-
pitches if she's starting out her own. Like, there's obviously some risk there. Decide as a board if we're willing to like take that on. See her pitch, but yeah, I think that's just I think the first question is, do we part ways? The next question is, who do we hire?
Okay, so the first question is, do we part ways? And it kind of sounds like everybody's saying, yeah, we should part ways. So the next step would be talk with Community Power and say, okay, how much negative are we into reserves that, we owe you, and we want to start working to get out, and what can we do?
Yeah, definitely would need a timeline for that.
I'll add it may be an advantage to doing it right now where Keene is coming on and they have to procure energy for Keene. If they say, okay,
Passes it on to Keene.
right, instead of, buying that from Keene, we'll transfer what you have.
Yeah, I think that would definitely help. I think people understand the timeline because, if it's 2 years out versus 6 months out, that may factor into people's kind of decisions on that. And I think Freedom said they wanted 3 months notice or something like that. I forget the exact number, but
That's the next thing I wanted to talk about was Freedom, is that, maybe I was misunderstood. I said that, I was saying we wouldn't do anything until February timeframe, okay? To me, that meant we weren't going to do anything until February. Freedom Energy came back with a timeline that, do this now, do this in June, do this in July, and, basically having us ready to go in February. Okay. When I was saying we're not going to do anything until February, basically saying we weren't going to do anything for this upcoming
they want a
rate.
business, so they're going to give us the soonest, I'm sure, that they could get us going. But yeah, I think that'll have to play into it. But
Okay. So that's what I have for Community Power and Freedom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're discounting the less tangible value that CPCNH might be providing to the industry. That I don't
are
know that
advantages
I didn't get the vibe that Freedom was doing much advocating at like the PUC level that CPCNH seems to do. I don't know if they've, clearly they haven't had much impact there yet, but maybe they have.
So obviously we need more conversation and more. I need to understand more, but certainly putting Community Power on notice and getting what do we need to do to get out of the contract? Having that would certainly help make any decisions that we have to make.
Yeah.
We can always go back, right?
Right.
2 years, they're
They
like
won't
the
say no.
flagship brand and everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Like we can always go back, right? And in some ways, like it could be a situation where this helps them kind of, whatever it is. I don't run their business, but sometimes losing some of that, you know, you might tighten the belt. You might make some changes that help you for the better.
Yeah.
But that ultimately, like, it sounds kind of rude, but that's not my problem, right? I
Their
love if
mismanagement
everything
is
was
not a
100%
problem.
clean energy personally, but obviously that's expensive for people. That's why it hasn't happened yet. I want them to succeed, but I also, you know, elected to this town to represent it. And I feel like at the end of the day, people are just going to look at what's the cheapest option. And why aren't you guys getting it for me? So.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay. That's all I got. Any other questions?
What was Eversource's rate before this proposed new one of 14?
What's the current rate?
So 13? Oh,
They're 2 cents cheaper than what we are right now, I believe. We're 14,
6, so they're 12,
663.
Yeah.
They're slightly less than 2 cents.
I saw 1.4 somewhere. No, they're at 14. Is what they're proposing now, basically. I think this is what I'm trying to get at. Is this is a pretty meaningful increase over Eversource's current rate, right? Whereas it's only a 2% increase for CPCNA? Which is expected given the under collection issues that they have, almost.
Yeah, I have a note. I can go find it.
It's maybe not that important anyway, but I just,
just one other thing I didn't show. I mean, these are all the rates. We also, Community Power also offers variable rates for commercial groups, and that's what their variable rates per month would be. And we offer Granite Plus 33%, 50%, and 100%. For the 33%, it'd be 0.4 cents higher than the 14,499. The other 50% would be 1.1 cent higher, so it'd be, 16 cents roughly.
that 33%, I'm sure someone remembers the number. The default for Eversource is like 26%, is that right?
Yeah, statewide it's 23%. Our Granite Basic is 23%. Eversource, Community Power is working on some new rates where you can ask for, right now the 23%, and the 50%, whatever, I don't know. They have to buy it from New Hampshire renewable sources, okay? That's a lot. But they can offer at a minimal increase. You can get clean 50%, which is 23% New Hampshire renewables or New England renewables, and then the rest of the renewables comes from out Midwest or whatever, which is dirt cheap. Yeah. So you can get like a 50% or 100% clean energy for less than what we offer for 100% here. They're working on those rates right now.
Okay. All right, we can move on.
Good. Okay. So I talked about next month we're going to have somebody else coming up, and in the meantime I'll find out from Community Power what it is that we need to get out.
Okay. Thanks. Moving on, I have this as a standing agenda item, but I don't know if there's any updates on the feasibility studies progress there.
No, I did have a somewhat related update. The town, Eversource has a new regional contact that we've met with Samantha Hobson, and she has been coming around to meet. I think we have a meeting with her tomorrow too to talk about some general offerings from members, energy audits, and any kind of other incentives for municipal stuff. That's the municipal side of it, but she's our point of contact and she's going around to communities. She offered to potentially come meet with this committee or someone from Eversource that would be the right contact to meet with this committee to talk about what kind of offerings for residential customers. So something that people in town may be interested in taking advantage of. I think she's kind of targeting energy audits, incentives and rebates for energy efficient upgrades and stuff for residential customers. So if that's something that this committee would be interested in doing, I can check with her on timing and maybe she could come to one of the future meetings. She or whoever the correct representative from Eversource is.
Their energy audits, I mean, another towns that do them, they're done really well. Like they can make an appointment, so they can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Make an appointment, they have that Windows gizmo that can tell you this is a leaky window, this is a hot spot, this is a cold spot, and you it's part of our wall.
Right.
It's really informative.
Yeah, so that's the program she was
Just telling you, here's what you should think about. There's nothing in it for them, other than if you don't fix it, you're gonna be heat out the windows, but here's our professional gizmo that shows you, here's the leak, here's the lack of insulation, here's the lack of insulation.
Yeah, and you can do, she said Eversource will offer, like, they could do a sort of public meeting. She was saying they could come and present to the committee to present this information and talk about this stuff. Or if we want to set up some sort of workshop to like invite people, residents to come in and sign up for something like that and learn about it specifically, they could arrange something along those lines too.
That could be something that backyard dash.
That'd be a good time. Is it August?
Yeah.
Just because yeah. So technically we have one more meeting, but
Okay.
I just thought
July, yeah.
Planning board and do workshops. It's hard to like get the word out and get people come. So get more like a couple of CDs, something like that.
And we can always use the Facebook pages and stuff to promote that in between meetings.
And sometimes it's easier to not necessarily do it at a regular scheduled evening meeting like this, but if the committee were to decide like we're gonna target a Saturday morning or like midday kind of thing and have a setup so that people can come. It sounds like Eversource is open to that.
It sounds like
a great collaboration, in fact, with the library, because their channels of advertising sounds really good. They get 40 is advertising for the library. And it does fit in there. They have everything from herbal tea making to felting, tiny animals, farmboard baby, characters, and they've got every kind of muscle programs. But to use that space in their channels of advertising would be really fantastic. Meeting space.
So I guess would you like to have her contact info? Do you want me to reach out to her and copy you as the chair and we can kind of start the conversation?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Setting up a meeting time for them to come for the committee and then we can see what they're offering and if that makes sense to do a workshop then?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind. And then I'd like to see like what exactly they're gonna talk about, and then we can decide whether it makes sense to do a workshop.
Yeah, and I think I got the sense that Sam probably wouldn't be the one to come do the presentation, but where she's our contact and liaison, and she's been very responsive. I really appreciate having her as the contact because Eversource is big, and this way she can get the right person involved and come in and talk about all this stuff. People that are knowledgeable about the programs.
Yeah. I'd be curious to hear what their municipal options are, or like offerings are too, if it's beyond just like energy efficiency and like EV charging incentives, batteries, something like that.
Yeah. We will find out more tomorrow.
Especially as they get into more complicated. We're not there yet, but like the bidirectional charging is something that I think the town and like the utilities are heavily incentivized to have those because I think I understand, but yeah, it's they can do some like virtual power plant stuff with those.
I guess on that day, last time, we've had like an interest or something like that. So I guess in that same vein, like, are there other opportunities for programs out there? But if it's been a long time since we've had anything from them or they do it, that might also be another vein of just kind of getting people to present options, resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they've come, not in the time that I've been
So that might
here
be
with the
another one
committee, but
we could look into.
that would be,
That'd be
yeah.
worth looking into, because their programs are good.
So I feel like it's a similar thing of like energy efficiency,
Yeah.
audits, things like that.
So are you thinking have New Hampshire Saves just converse with the committee, or couple it with the
like them
workshop?
coming and presenting stuff
Yeah.
that's going on. If they have
Talk
useful
about what they have
options.
for programs and
Right.
offerings.
I don't know. I don't even know if that's something they do, but I feel like it's kind of a similar area.
Yeah.
They do a lot even with water and telling people how to like unscrew the little thing on your faucet and get the silt out of your faucet, and you're gonna have
Better flow.
a better flow, and stop complaining about you don't have a flow, you have water too low. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that might be, you know, maybe we start like a little, we do a year of like seminar workshop, things like that, where it's like we do these one with Anderson's, one with Shades. I don't know.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it really fits the environment part of energy and environment.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, the education,
Education outreach.
Do you know of a contact at New Hampshire Saves? Should I ask Trin Casper? Maybe if she would want to open that dialogue with
Sure.
you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take that help. Yeah. I don't have a contact there. I did have an energy audit through them myself, but didn't end up pursuing it. Okay. Yeah, I guess sticking with this renewable energy project topic, I mentioned to Joe and Lindsay about. I may have brought this up last meeting, but there's the Lee Public Library recently had a solar plus battery installation completed, and it was like a great opportunity for them from like a learning perspective and educating the community. They like kind of went that vein with it, and what was I going to say? It also provides or turned the building into a pretty resilient space that, in the event of power outages and stuff, can serve as like a community safe space. I spoke to Andy and Lauren at the library, and they're interested in something like that. I know at least part of the roof is pretty much off limits due to historical reasons. It seemed like after talking to Andy that a large section of the roof is not subject to that issue. So I think it's worth exploring more. I don't know if that means like conducting another feasibility study or just like reaching out to like solar developers, or I don't know.
I don't know if another feasibility study is quite the right route, but
Yeah.
the library, if I'm remembering correctly, they're either actively doing a building assessment or they just completed it. Is it complete now? No. Okay. So I would say maybe having a conversation with Andy and Lauren about asking the questions of their consultant that's doing their building assessment. Because I think they were looking to do some renovations and possibly some other stuff. And maybe they can expand slightly their scope of what they're looking at to determine whether or not that's, I mean, I think it could be a pretty easy lift to just understand if the historical aspect is going to prohibit doing something like that, or if the historic thing isn't an issue and maybe the structure would support, they could probably provide some guidance there. And I think that recommendation is supposed to, or that assessment is supposed to have some recommendations of things that the library is going to move forward with in terms of renovations and upgrades with the building. So that might be something that could be worked into that. I don't know. I think, so you mentioned potentially having a meeting with the folks. And
I think that'd be really neat.
kind of talking about the process and what they got out of it. I think that would be beneficial too, and that might also help Andy, Lauren, or whoever at the library is managing that building piece, know what types of questions to ask as they move forward with that piece of it.
Might be beneficial to see if they could
just have a couple people do a field trip and go see it.
Yeah.
That's better than just having them come to say, you want to go with
Andy or
somebody else.
Okay. Yeah. So start by reaching out to the Lee Library.
Yeah, and Katrina is great contact.
Yeah, she's involved, right?
She's in the so.
Yeah. Okay. I will.
She was maybe on their select board. I don't know if she still is, but
Yeah.
she's well plugged in with me, so I think she could help
They
out.
did a lot of outreach.
This is the library we discussed this now.
Okay. I'll start there. That's a great idea. And then, yeah, if we progress, maybe we have some sort of joint meeting or something, or invite them, the library.
Might not
Might
be
not be
possible
possible based on
the
the feasibility study, might say that's IDD, you choose that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not be something, but it would be helpful to kind of,
Even if we
Yes, no.
yeah.
And I know there's other folks in town having conversations around what to do with that lot, or if there are ways to improve the parking lot, not just the library, like the main
Oh, the Weaver's Row parking lot.
Weaver's Row parking lot,
Yeah.
which is, in my opinion, a pretty desolate waste of space. It could be, we could use part of it for a solar carport. There's, I know there's other plans, but like, I'm not sure. I think if that's a direct outreach to the owner of the space is the path forward there, or we're having a conversation with.
I would start with Bart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Director.
That's kind of all the bills and stuff. Downtown village board, but yeah, there may be some challenges there just based on like what's allowed.
What was promised to the residents in Weaver's Row for reserved parking.
Yeah, there's stuff like
That's
that.
huge. A third of that parking lot's already reserved for residents.
Oh, really? Yeah.
There's also an overlay district there, so there may be some constraints there that, let alone whoever owns part of that stuff, right? They
Yeah.
obviously it's their property.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much the whole parking lot is timber.
Yeah.
The town doesn't own it. But if there are going to be conversations about what redevelopment would look like there, Bart would be a good place to start.
Yeah, nothing's come before the planning board, but that doesn't mean people come and talk to Bart about stuff all the time. That doesn't necessarily rise to the, board's attention, so he may have come across something, or someone's mentioned something, or there might be a partnering potential there if the town's willing to partner with Chimberg, for example.
Exactly.
Might be stuff to
That's what I was
for
thinking.
sure.
Yeah. And assuming, I have no idea, but assuming that Chimberg is interested in something like that. Between the town and the library, that'd be a great opportunity. Let's start with Bart.
Start with Bart. Yep.
Okay. Backyard bash planning, or any other comments or thoughts on that before we? Okay. I don't know. As far as backyard bash, I think Julia's happy to woman the booth. Again, I think one of the ideas was, I don't know if we have a banner for it, or an old school one,
The banner
but
stopped because of, I can't get a computer thing that will actually get big enough to be on a banner.
Okay.
And I've asked anybody involved making banners, and they all say, well, it just has to be little, it just has to be little. So I know when we talked, we wanted a graphic that said Newmarket, Energy and Environment, and the town seal, but the town seal really can only be like this big. And then since then, it didn't get done in time for that, because I wasn't going to decide that.
yeah.
And then I didn't make the next meeting, or we didn't have the next meeting. Anyway, now we're there. So if you want one, it can be that big. And that fits Steve's requirement, saying please put that town seal on things that are officially town committees.
Yeah.
Or commissions, or whatever they are, so that works. And you could also highlight it by putting a stripe here, a circle, and a stripe just part way there. So you would see that it was there. And that's a nice graphic technique as well. So, and I should have thought, I didn't think of it, I can email to you the samples from Staples of how they
Yeah,
envisioned it
that'd be
with
good.
the thing, with the town seal.
Okay.
And the other thing was, out-of-state people said, oh, yeah, we can, I forget what it's called, they do something and take a PDF or something, so they fix the pixels in pixels, except for then you see the fixed pixels. I thought, I guess it could be.
Yeah, no, not ideal.
It can get very silly. Then I thought, once we're gonna do that, we might consider, it could be interesting to have instead of any of this banner stuff, but to have a feather flare. And they have a stand for them that can stand up by themselves, or a four-prong thing that will go in the ground out of the field. And that's wicked easy to transport. That's a no-brainer kind of thing. And that's back to Steve, yes, we spend that time and $130 on this thing first. So that, I think would be the way to go. I think it's got more utility than a banner, and that way when you're walking around in the field, you have to get a feel for, I don't know, stick the thing where you weigh the thing down.
There's not gonna be any issue with people bumping into it or anything like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. Can you pick the picture of the other?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't think so.
Yeah, vertical.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I don't think so. I've had them at schools where I've been before, they said, I'd welcome back to school, go back to school today, and there's all
put it-
kinds of changes,
Can-
groups going over there.
Just double check with Amy, just to make sure that she's okay with if we were to do that.
Oh, I can't, I've set them up for a few people have them.
We have had them at the, at that, okay. then that's
But
fine.
I can ask her again.
No, if they've had, I don't recall, maybe they were there, I don't recall seeing any like that.
There's a
but-
lot of stuff going there, so it's easy to say, why have anything? Because kids are gonna run around and say, look at John Children's over there. I think it's worth having on here because then you open up, I mean, suppose you had a field trip somewhere, you stick it out there and say, we park the field trips over there, or the event, or if you wanted to be part of, town hall yard sale, who knows? I think there's a lot of utility to be had, and something that had more uses than.
Yeah, I'm all for it. That makes sense.
I have an 8x8 tent, pop-up tent.
Yep.
If somebody has a 10x10, that would be better, but
Oh, you mentioned that,
8x8 is probably fine too.
Yeah, that's what you had last year, right? Or,
We had a 10x10, but it broke, mine, it broke, so I just ended up dumping it.
okay. I mean, does the town have a few extra of those, or can
they
we?
go fast.
Yeah.
They go fast.
I don't know how much a tent
Yeah,
costs, but I don't know, not in our budget. We don't have a budget.
Whatever, there's Steve's gracious.
Yeah.
And unless you spend a whole lot of money, they break one easily.
Oh, really?
They say, look, this thing's only $1.99 or whatever, but it's like.
One done.
Summer.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
8x8 is probably less likely to break than 10x10. Less likely.
I've had the 8x8 for a long time. I've got
Well,
two.
there's no stuff like these.
Well, we can go with that for now.
And I have a table, and we can get the tablecloths again if we need tablecloths.
Yeah, I think we should do the recycling game again with some improvements.
I'm sure goes with the thing about trucks.
Yeah, well, we can maybe provide updates if people ask, but generally just broader recycling awareness. There's another area I was going to explore. I think it's like VEEP I forget the organization, but it's an organization that works in New Hampshire and Vermont, mostly with schools around educating like energy efficiency, climate change, clean energy, and then like just general like STEM. I wasn't sure if we could either probably not get them to join our booth, but like they provide kits, like educational kits sometimes to schools and other like events and organizations for kids to engage with. Some of this, it might be too much for a booth, but I was going to explore that. I don't know if anyone has seen that or has thoughts. I can ask. I can just reach out to them. But.
Yeah, again, I would, like you say, I would caution with trying to do too much.
Yeah.
And
Just picture people
dragging
dragging stuff around.
You know, and I'm always like, oh my God, they've got this cool stuff at Free New Hampshire. And then what? It's fantastic stuff. You take one, and it's wonderful, and then what?
Yeah.
You go here, watch these two kids, I'm gonna go there, I'll do the beer tent, I'll come back for a drink, and maybe like the thing gets lost. And then I'll always recreate.
Yeah.
If Eversource has anything on energy efficiencies, flyers or whatever, that they could give us.
Yep. That would be good to hear.
Have on, anything like that?
Yeah, and it does come together we're not going to emphasize the workshop.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to
Targeted
write
audience, anybody that got up and went to wherever an event was, just take Liberty Library or this auditorium. They're mindful, they're there, they want the thing.
Yeah.
It's not one of 40 things that they could have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And to be clear, it's not like handout kits. It's like interactive, like picture like putting together a Lego set or something, but it's energy related or electrical engineering related or something. So it's like it would just be there to interact with, not to like for kids to take souvenirs away. But still, that might even be more difficult to get. It's just, yeah. Yeah. It might be a way to draw people's attention, but it also might monopolize the discussion. It's probably a better solution, or better, forum. Yeah.
Handouts.
Handy.
Let me tell you things.
Yeah. Well, that's what as you say fair, it makes me think like, are there other games that we could come up with like energy related?
Anybody else hadn't had a game.
Oh, really? If you're a committee, you don't have to, but
Yeah, because
We're boring.
And she said, we'll come up with a game for you.
And
And then that was overwhelming at the rec. Because
Yeah.
everybody said, why do we have to go? Just tell Angel, get the stuff for us. They're
more or less successful than you would imagine.
yeah,
Not to belittle it, but there's so much going on to say, we want a game too is.
Similar to the recycling bin that we had set up, having some of those like pictures and is it recyclable, is it not? And if you get enough of them right, they get a
yeah.
or something right. You can kind of gamify where.
I think that's more or less what we did last year. Yeah. We were just.
That's
I
what
think.
I'm thinking of it. 'Cause
Yeah.
you guys did.
Well, we had literal pictures, but I think the advice was, or the recommendation for next year was to have like physical items, like a toy milk carton or something.
Yeah.
Which I think Julia got for the Turtle Fest, right? Didn't we have some of those?
No, Turtle Fest, we had a 3D turtle thing that you could color flat, and then you put a tape on
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and stone.
Right. Okay. If nothing else, the recycling thing was a good one. And I can maybe think of some other ideas there, but
45 second thing.
yeah. Right. Not
There's definitely going to be a lot of
Pictures of American children.
shiny objects going on at backyard back.
yeah. Try and keep it simple. Okay. Information. Maybe we'll get someone to sign up for our committee. We have those forms still,
Yes, we do.
which not a single one was filled out at the Turtle Fest.
It has been successful at the Conservation Commission.
Really?
We've got 3
Yeah.
members of that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and I know we.
It really takes
Yeah.
And I
And I
think
think
part of the
success of the Conservation Commission is being able to see what we just did in the last little while.
And this
This
one's
one's hard,
we don't
because
keep
we're
saying,
still talking about something. You have to have a tangible thing.
Well, the trench program.
Yeah, the tricks is what we can be able to say there's more than 99 pounds now.
Yeah. Hopefully over 100. I think, and I did get to moving. We can move on to the recycling. I think now that's a good segue. Oh, thank you. I spoke to the Trex folks because we are under the quarterly target of 250 pounds, where quarter's ending in 6 days. If we don't hit 250, we don't get an entry into the drawing for anything, but they will move it to the next quarter because we're starting February. So I have to ask them to formally do that, but so we should be fine because we're definitely not going to hit 250.
We started late in the
Yes.
quarter.
Yeah. So with that, I think we should be good. We'll probably hit 250 next quarter. Just keep
Camp
going.
starts, so we're gonna be in and out of the rec center.
Oh, really?
Crazy,
Yeah.
starting on Monday for 7 weeks.
Yeah. So I have to keep. I don't know. I was thinking about at the end of this quarter, making like a follow-up announcement on Facebook, just tell people where we're at and to remind them to. Also announce that the one that the high school we need to meet here, if it hasn't happened already, I don't think it has, right?
I haven't.
Okay, so then we can do that, so I can announce that.
You're gonna do that?
Via Facebook. I can check with Dave to get the bid. Yeah, I've never heard from him, so I don't know how full it was. But
Got to them late in the year.
yes, yeah. Yeah, I was hoping it would be like, the Net Zero Committee there expressed interest in like promoting it, but I don't know how far that went. But I was hoping that it would be like, kids tell their parents are like, here, take these guys to school.
Parents are saying, what, second mortgage, we want to go to school?
Fair enough.
What?
Yeah. So that's it for the Trex program. I think I might use that forum again to like continue to help advancing getting rid of plastic, like these single-use plastic bags out of recycling. And on that subject, I've been approached by people. I personally observed that there's still a lot of like people bagging their recycling on like for curbside pickup. And I don't know if we can, if it's like the DPW or directly Casella that can enforce not picking up curbside if it's bagged.
Oh,
What do you mean, just the orange Newmarket?
No, recycling. If you put recycling in a non-orange bag, Casella is still picking it up even though it's not recycling. And
It's like something in a blue bin that's not supposed to be there, they still pick it up?
Yeah, exactly. But you're literally seeing, like, in our neighborhood alone, I'd say maybe 10% of the people, my neighbors, do that. Where there's plastic, just a kitchen trash bag, white, on the curb, in the recycling bin, or, not in a bin, and it has presumably recyclables in it, but who knows? And they get picked up. I assume it's not the trash, they're not picking it up with the trash, because it's not an orange bag. But if it were me, I would.
The contract says we will drive by on this day and anything in the blue bin, period, going down. You're not going to decide when am I going to leave.
I don't give a shit.
We're told, get this thing off the street on this day, on these days.
Yeah, so is it on the DPW to say to Casella, hey, if this is not
I don't
following?
I don't want to speak for Rick, but I'm sure Rick's going to say, no, I'm not going to get into
Well,
that.
and it's unrealistic, you got two guys hanging off the back of the truck, they're gonna say, hey, no, wait a second, I see some stupid thing in this bag.
Well, I'm not asking them to, I'm not expecting anyone to filter through, but it's like, if it's bagged, then I would expect Casella's employees to just not pick it up.
Casella said that when it gets to their recycling area, our stuff is mixed with other stuff, but generally Newmarket is pretty good on recycling.
Yeah.
That 80%, or I forget what the figure was,
More than
but
80.
a fair amount of the recyclable is valid recyclable stuff that's going through the thing. And they're kicking out the stuff that isn't recyclable.
And they notify a town when there's a proportion of things that aren't correct in that
truck's
batch
batch
of
of
stuff.
stuff that came from town.
Yeah.
So they're really putting some kind of rules, like I've seen town pass, where they'll put like a little sticker or whatever that says like, we saw this in there, can't pick it up.
Yeah.
Of course, I think that was Chicago has those imprints, but,
Well, right now, there's a big hullabaloo about can you put pizza boxes in or you can't put pizza boxes in. You could have
We have 50 people in this room, and they were starting off, you may not put pizza boxes in. The other people say, no, you're absolutely allowed to. You're not allowed to put the pizza box in. If you open it up and you see a
Greasy.
footprint of the pizza box. But the pizza people are getting around that because they put that waxy oily thing, it's coated with all kind of stuff. It doesn't break down very easily in the dump, but at least the pizza box didn't get great greasy. So you can put the pizza box in if the pizza box wasn't greasy. You can also just tear the top off the pizza box and put that in, and put the other thing on garbage.
Yes.
But
That's for publicity thing in the Newmarket Town newsletter or something. It's not Casella. Casella's contract just says we got this much time to build these 10 streets. And they're already happy with this.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's working with us. They're not gonna stop picking up people's recycling, so they'll just sift through there at their facility, or the people working gonna spend the time, because the sooner they get it done, the sooner they can get home,
Yeah.
from their run. So I think the backyard bash, like that kind of stuff of correcting it at the source problem of, hey, can't put that in there, you know that sort of thing is probably, that, if your, neighbors are doing it, you can leave them
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not going to approach my
message.
neighbors and say that. But, yeah.
I found this in your recycling bin, don't do it again.
Right. What kind of bin police are they?
Yeah.
It has
good
to be
one.
intrinsic.
I just thought it would be as simple as if it's bagged, don't pick it up, and that's actually less work for Casella.
No, Casella has promised they will get everything that's on the street on that day by that time, boom, period, done.
They're picking and processing at their facility.
Yeah.
It's much easier than trying to have somebody sit through in a bin there at the
And they're
site.
putting something into a square miles of area. They really don't care that this guy has a little three-wheeled tricycle that his kid outgrew in that bin.
All right.
And maybe it becomes more of a problem for them because then it's not the physical amount.
Yeah.
Then you'll be madder when the thing that was in the neighbor's bin inappropriately is now in your lawn.
Yeah.
We do, at DPW, get a lot of calls when the facility doesn't get something up. So we deal with that with them.
That's good.
Okay. All right. Community outreach it is.
Well, also Casella's gonna be changing over to the automation thing. We have 2 years into a 5-year contract right now. There's a couple years left on this contract, and then we get those automated ones, so humans not hanging on for that.
Right.
Oh, we get rid of the blue bins to like different bins?
No, the orange bag, you'll get a green thing, probably green thing that the forklifty thing on the truck
Oh, so
goes
no more orange
near
bags?
Yeah,
It's both for trash and recycling, right?
correct.
So there'll just be two similar bins, one's green, one's blue, or whatever.
Well, one is tall and skinny and has like a lid on it, and then there's little troughs where the thing picks it up.
So we're not paying for bags anymore once that contract?
In a few
changes
years,
over?
not yet, don't start.
So how are they doing the funding for that?
Yeah, don't,
Yeah, this is a
Bags don't.
televised. It's not.
no, don't worry about it.
Okay. Not part of this committee's business, got it.
Yeah. It's weirder than that.
Hold.
Just have more questions
Interesting.
than answers.
All right. I think that's all I had. The next meeting is July 22nd, I believe. And
Yeah, I had told, just looking, I had told that lady, Emily,
Yeah, you said July 29th.
July 29, but I'll call her and tell her.
well, we can move the meeting. I mean, there's. I don't.
Well, what do you want to do? I think we did say we would meet the fourth Wednesday going forward, right?
Which
Or did we
is.
say, or did we say last Wednesday? I don't know what we said.
Yeah, which is the 22nd. I think we said the fourth Wednesday. Yeah. And that's what's on this calendar right now. So I guess start and see if she can
Yeah,
adjust.
so let's see if she can move it.
Okay. Yeah.
But also there's more than a couple of days before the backyard bash.
Yeah.
You want to do it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Just use weeks of things last minute.
Yeah. All right. I think we can adjourn.
But
Julia said she's interested in being on trash.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. She was great last year. So
Yeah.
I'll try to be there as well.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Well, for
Hold the George.
what?
You can
Yeah, I'll text him.
George and say, what should we have happen?
Yeah.